Yo, what the hell's up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead is the story about a zombie outbreak that happens in Las Vegas, Nevada that forces them to wall off the city in order to contain the infection. In the last couple of days before the government nukes the city to neutralize it, a private party hires a team of professionals to go in and extract a large sum of money from a safe in a casino. So, Zack Snyder returned to the zombie genre after all these years. But unlike the remake of The Dawn of the Dead, the dawn of his very successful and fruitful career, he's now put in charge of a lot more than just directing. He's the director, writer, producer, even the damn DP. I mean, whew, that's a lot of hats, bro. From my personal experience, it's the projects where I tried to do way too damn much myself that I end up writhing in frustration after the fact. Obviously, some people can handle it better than others, but damn, we can't all be Orson Welles for Christ's sake. That being said, it's a zombie movie. I mean, he can't possibly screw that up, right? Especially having dipped into the genre before. Seems like as logical of a starting point for the pros that I can think of, the zombie makeup and gore. The zombies looked great in this film, and it wasn't like a cookie cutter approach where all the zombies kind of looked the same. They all kind of had their own unique attributes to them, all of them equal parts very meticulously put together in the chair. And the blood dripping from their mouths, hands, wounds, missing limbs, pretty much everywhere, it all looked good. It was stomach churning at some points, comically over the top in others, and everything in between. It always seemed like they had a good grasp of what the right amount of red stuff was for each varying situation, and it all looked great. On the note of it being somewhat comically over the top, it did deliver on some very noteworthy kills. That's like a staple of the zombie movie genre, where we have absurd and creative ways to kill a zombie, mostly being insanely violent that really stick with you after the fact. When this movie decides the violence, it does it really well, some good old-fashioned popcorn fun. There were a few really great sequences. Some of them were great fight and battle choreography with zombies, other ones were a little bit more tense and stealthy. And then of course there's the opening credit sequence, which is just a lot of fun. I also really enjoyed the location and set design. They did a good job really deading up Viva Las Vegas. That's always been an underrated aspect of the zombie movie genre for me, just seeing the fossils of a city that no longer has man to upkeep it and just letting it up to nature and entropy to take it over. The zombies in this movie, they're able to do a lot, but they do not upkeep the buildings and streets, and I was okay with that. However, on the note of the zombies, while I do think that they looked fantastic, I wasn't really feeling Zack Snyder's new vision for them. I'll admit that it's sort of poetic. Zack Snyder kind of progressed the zombie movie genre when he did Dawn of the Dead. It was sort of alien to us, the audience at the time, to see zombies sprinting, especially in the Romero universe, the sandbox that he was playing in at the time. So it does sort of make sense that he would progress the zombie movie genre once again, but I feel like this step forward, I didn't really think was a great step. For starters, I did not like the hierarchy that the zombies had, their method of ruling the city of Las Vegas after they took it over. I feel like that kind of removes the thing that makes a zombie when you give them cognitive abilities, the ability to make a system of ruling. I feel like that kind of takes away from the mindless aspect. Like when you say, you know, you're really tired, I was basically a zombie that morning, it's because you weren't really all up in the head. So when you give them cognitive abilities, it just doesn't feel like a zombie. Yes, I know George A. Romero, the king of zombies, kind of dabbled in these waters in Land of the Dead, but I didn't really like it when he did it, and it also was not to this extent. Not only are the zombies insanely intelligent in this movie, but they also have crazy physical abilities. Like at one point, there was straight up like a zombie breakdance fighting. It was absurd. Look, I'm all for progressing the genre. I mean, that makes sense. It's a natural evolution, but this step just is dumb as hell. Giving zombies cognitive and extra physical abilities kind of opens up a Pandora's box of questioning, a slippery slope that kind of takes away from the experience. From where I'm sitting, it's always been like the consensus appeal to a zombie. It's an understandable, simple threat that all of us, the audience, can wrap our mind around. It's why all of us love to play those games of what would be your preferred weapon in a zombie outbreak. Where would you hold up if the zombie apocalypse happened? That's what makes the game fun, because we all understand the rules of the game. We all know what zombies are capable of, their strengths, their weaknesses. You don't see us playing that game with, say, vampires, for instance, who change their attributes from IP to IP depending on whatever book, movie, show you're watching. Speaking of consistency, this movie had none in several aspects. The tone was all over the place. Sometimes it wanted to be really funny and over-the-top comedic aspect, and other times it took itself way too damn seriously. It had really inconsistent pacing and progression, a lot of peaks and valleys, mostly valleys. Some of the characters were stupid, unlikable, expendable, basically cartoons to be killed off. Other ones, they tried way too hard to build them up and get us to care about them, but I personally didn't. Okay, I guess there's consistency there. They all sucked, so I'll give you that one. The dialogue was insanely cliche and cheesy. They also tried way too hard to work jokes into the script, not even good ones. They had a good handle on the physical comedy, like that over-the-top violence that you can't help but laugh at. It had that in it, but whenever they tried to like work jokes into the script, like the written aspect, it was forced as hell. The movie is also littered with Zack Snyderisms, those little production hits and styles that he loves to throw into his movies. I've expressed in the past that I'm not the biggest fan of his style, but I'll be honest, like, it didn't really bother me that much here. It's definitely present. You could tell it's a Zack Snyder movie, but it just didn't really bother me as much on this one. However, the one Zack Snyderism that did bother me here were some of the lenses that he used that had too insanely narrow of depths of field. I get it, he loves his narrow depths of field. That's fine. Everyone has their druthers, but he's completely unhinged in this movie. I mean, half the film is completely blurry and out of focus. I assume, again, it's because he had too much power with this movie. According to IMDb, from what I can see, this is the only movie that he's ever been the director of photography. So he probably just took a look that he really loves and pasted it all over the place, and no one there to keep him in check, like an experienced DP to say, "Hey Zach pal, you know, we just used this lens on the last shot. Don't you think it'll cut together a little strange if we don't mix it up?" Again, film is all about checks and balances. Not one person can oversee every aspect. Things will fall between the cracks, and I think that this film is a case of Zach kind of being too much Zach and going unchecked. On that note, my god, the runtime. There's absolutely no reason this movie should be 2.5 hours long. Are you kidding me? Chop out at least 30 minutes of this film, maybe 45. I am serious, this movie is so fatty. Keep all of the action and the violence. It is great, it is gold, but get rid of all the fatty plot BS. I mean, damn, after the title sequence, I don't think we see a zombie again, if I'm not mistaken, until like an hour into the film. That's a problem. It takes so much time to build up a plot that doesn't pay off at the end anyway, so why try? Cut out all that BS and just leave us with the fun, juicy stuff. Make this thing more digestible. All in all, if this movie were 30 to 45 minutes shorter, I would gladly watch it again. But 2.5 hours? Yeesh. Maybe the studio can, you know, make a shorter alternative version of the film that just has the exciting parts. Maybe we can start a hashtag. Release the army cut? Release the dead cut? Nah, none of those sound right. I'm going to give Army of the Dead a C-. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with new reviews coming real soon. Stay safe. Thanks for checking in.